I built a lot of fences in my life. I grew up on a farm building fences, and for 10 years I owned a fence construction business. And in 2005, I got a phone call from a man. He said, "Jason, I need your help. One of my guys got robbed and shot on a job. I need you to get out here ASAP and start on this fence job." And that's not always the case when we're talking about fences. It's usually not a matter of life and death, maybe for your little chihuahua or something, but usually it's not for people. It's usually for something else. But safety is one thing that we want to think about whenever we're thinking about a privacy fence. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 3 steps to building your very own privacy fence with your very own hands, not hiring anybody, but saving nearly half of what could cost you up to $14 a foot. You're going to be spending about $7 a foot on this. The first step in building a privacy fence, you want to set the post. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set your corner posts, right? Because they are going to determine where your line posts go, and they're going to determine where your fence goes. So if you want to make any changes, you'll be wanting to make those with the corner posts initially. They're going to get you a good idea of how big your fence is going to be. Whenever you're thinking about setting posts, you want to make sure your posts are at least 2 foot deep. You also want to make sure that your posts are level. And you also want to make sure that you set all of your posts in concrete. You don't want it to be all the way up to the top, just a little bit below the edge of the ground for that. Now that you've got your corner post set, you want to move on to your line post. You want to stretch a string from corner post to corner post. You want to make a mark on the ground about every 8 feet or so, or accordingly to however big of a span of fence you're doing. You want to make a mark with some paint or with a stick, with your foot, something. And then you want to dig these post holes out. You want to set your posts in them. Once you get your posts set into your holes, you want to level them up, you want to concrete them, and you're good to go. You should have something that looks a little bit like this. Now, setting your posts is the most important part. You don't want to cut any corners when it comes to setting posts because the strength of your fence is in the posts. So as we get these posts set, then we're going to go on to step 2, which is putting up the 2x4s. The most important part of putting up your 2x4s is this top rail. You want to make sure that it's about 68 inches off the ground. You want to make sure that it's good and straight once it gets put up. You want to put only 1 nail in it or 1 screw so that you can make adjustments if you need to. You can see it's a little high right there. You don't want any drastic changes in it. You want it to roll gradually. Here's another example of where this one has a little bit of a drop off there, so that needs to be moved down to where it's a nice smooth flow. But once you get all of your adjustments made, you want to make sure you get these screwed off. Put at least 3 nails in each board on each end. And then moving on to the bottom run, you want to make you a measuring stick about 2 foot long. Put it right below the top one. Put a mark on the bottom, and you're ready for the row number 2. After you get your second row put up, you'll have something that looks a little bit like this. Be nice and even and pretty. Then you want to do the same thing for your bottom run to get it about 2 feet. Get your spacing even right here. And so once that's done, you want to go ahead and cut the tops of your post off now because you can still access them easily. And you can see here as we've done this, got them off, cut it off easy or even so that they're not sticking up above the fence. The third step is that you want to nail on your pickets. The most important part of this stage is that you'll want to make this mark right here on every single one of your pickets. You'll want this mark because this is going to determine where you nail it at. It's going to make sure you get that good professional look, that good professional touch to the fence. And as you keep going, as you put your mark at the top of the 2x4, you're going to keep on going as it flows, and you're going to get a good look at your fence. And you'll want to set some out in front of you just like this to keep going smoothly. Then you're going to have a finished product that looks something like this. So as we look back, we're going to set our posts. We want to make sure, get our corner posts set, make sure they're straight, 2 foot in the ground, concrete around them. We want to do a good job on this because it's the most important part of the fence. We want to set our 2x4s, nail them on. We want the top one to be perfect because it's going to make the difference in where these go, and it's going to make the difference on where the second and third runs go. Then when it comes to nailing on the pickets, we want to make sure that we get this mark on so that we can see what we're doing. Anybody can build a fence. It's not rocket science. But you need a good plan, and you need to do a good job with a few essential tools. Remember, good fences make good neighbors.